IELTS Listening. You will hear a number of different recordings, and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. Now turn to Section 1.
Part 1. You will hear a woman talking to a man about volunteering opportunities and upcoming community events in Oakfield Village. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 7. Now listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 7.
Good afternoon, this is Emma speaking.
Hi Emma, my name's Mark Bennett. I've recently moved to Oakfield and heard that your community center is looking for volunteers. I'm interested in getting involved.
That's great to hear, Mark. We always welcome new volunteers. What kind of activities are you interested in?
I'm pretty flexible, but I'm particularly good with numbers and computers. I've also got a bit of experience with event planning.
Fantastic. We could definitely use some help in those areas. For starters, we need someone to assist with managing the community center's finances. It involves keeping track of our expenses and donations and preparing financial reports. Would that be something you're comfortable with?
Absolutely. I've worked as an accountant for over 20 years. So, that's right up my alley.
Excellent. The role would require about 2 hours a week, and you can do it remotely or come into the center, whichever you prefer.
I'm happy to do it remotely most of the time, but I could come in occasionally if needed.
Perfect. We also need help with updating our membership record. We have a lot of members, and it's important to keep their contact information and preferences up to date.
I can take care of that. I assume everything's computerized?
Yes, we use a simple database system. I'll give you a quick tutorial on how it works.
That sounds good. Where is the community center located, by the way? I haven't come across it during my walks around Oakfield.
It's on Maple Street, just opposite the park. The building is quite old. It's been there since the 1920s, so you might have missed it if you weren't looking closely.
I'll make sure to check it out next time I'm nearby. Do you also have a youth club or activities for teenagers? I remember being part of something similar when I was younger, and it was a great experience.
Yes, we do. The Youth Club is one of our most popular programs. It runs every Friday evening, and we're always looking for volunteers to help supervise and organize activities.
I could help with that too. I've coached soccer teams before, so I'm used to working with teenagers.
That would be wonderful. We could really use someone to help organize sports activities, something the kids love, but we've been short on volunteers for it.
I'd be happy to get involved. Is there anything else I could do?
Actually, yes. We have a few elderly residents in the community who need assistance with grocery shopping and other errands. Just whenever you're available.
I'd be glad to help with that as well. Just let me know who needs assistance and when.
Thank you, Mark. There's Mrs. Thompson who needs help with her groceries this weekend. She lives just a few blocks away from the community center. Would you be able to assist her?
I can do that. Saturday morning would work best for me.
That's perfect. I'll let Mrs. Thompson know. Also, we're planning to help Mr. Reynolds with some home repairs next week. He needs help fixing his fence and doing some yard work.
I'm not much of a handyman, but I can certainly lend a hand with the yard work.
That would be great. You can coordinate with the other volunteers to find a time that works for everyone.
Sounds good. I'll make sure to get in touch with them.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 8 to 10. Now listen carefully and answer questions 8 to 10.
We also organize monthly community events, which are a lot of fun and a great way to meet other residents.
That sounds interesting. What kind of events do you usually have?
Well, next month, on the 12th of September, we're having a charity bake sale at the community center. It's one of our biggest events, and we're hoping to raise funds for the new playground we're planning to build.
That sounds like a great cause. I'm not much of a baker, but I can certainly help out in other ways.
We'll need help setting up tables and chairs, and also with selling the baked goods on the day. Would you be interested in that?
I can definitely help with the setup and sales. Just let me know the details.
Thank you. Then, on October the 10th, we're hosting a movie night in the park. We'll be screening a classic film, and we're expecting a good turnout.
I'm not familiar with outdoor movie screenings. What kind of help do you need?
We'll need volunteers to help with setting up the screen and seating, and to assist with selling popcorn and drinks during the event.
I can help with setting up, and I wouldn't mind managing the snack stand as well.
That would be very helpful. Thanks. Lastly, in December, we're planning a community cleanup day. It's an annual event where residents come together to clean up the parks, streets, and public areas around Oakfield.
That's a fantastic idea. I'm definitely interested in helping with that.
Great. We'll need people to help organize the different groups and distribute supplies like trash bags and gloves. We're also looking for volunteers to manage the registration desk and make sure everyone is signed in.
I can assist with organizing the groups and handling the registration.
Perfect. I'll add your name to the list of volunteers, and we'll be in touch with more details as the event gets closer.
I'm looking forward to it. Just let me know when the first planning meeting is scheduled.
Part 2. You will hear a talk about the renovation of a library. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 16.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the grand reopening of the Maplewood Library. The renovation of the library has been a significant project, taking over 2 years to complete. Transformation from an outdated facility to a state-of-the-art community hub is truly remarkable. Before we proceed with the ribbon-cutting ceremony, I'd like to highlight some of the key changes made during the renovation. The entrance of the library has been completely overhauled. We now have automated doors, making access much easier for everyone, especially those with disabilities. The entrance also features an inviting glass facade that allows plenty of natural light to flood the lobby. This change has made the library look much more welcoming and modern. One of the most exciting transformations has been in the children's section. Previously, it was cramped and uninspiring, with little space for children to move around or engage with the materials. We have now expanded this section significantly, providing ample room for children to explore and learn. The redesigned area boasts vibrant colors that stimulate young minds, and we've included interactive learning tools such as touchscreen displays, educational games, and sensory play areas. Comfortable seating areas have been added for both children and their parents, encouraging family bonding and making it a fun and engaging place for our younger visitors to learn and play. Storytime sessions and puppet shows will also be held regularly to foster a love of reading and creativity among the kids. We've also modernized the main reading room. It used to be quite dark and uncomfortable, with outdated furniture and inadequate lighting that made it difficult to read for extended periods. Now, the room is equipped with ergonomic furniture designed to provide maximum comfort and support. The lighting has been significantly improved with adjustable LED lights that reduce eye strain, creating a warm and inviting atmosphere. We've also added more shelves and created cozy reading nooks where people can enjoy their books in a quiet and relaxing environment. Our goal was to create a space where people could enjoy reading for hours without any discomfort. The technology corner, which was previously outdated and underutilized, has been completely replaced with state-of-the-art equipment. We've installed the latest computers with high-speed internet access, ensuring our patrons have the digital resources they need at their fingertips. This upgrade includes new software for research, graphic design, and multimedia projects, making the library a valuable resource for students, job seekers, and anyone needing access to modern technology. We've also added charging stations for personal devices and created a comfortable workspace with ample seating and desk area. The rooftop, which was previously inaccessible and unused, now features a beautiful garden and seating area. This serene outdoor space is perfect for reading, studying, and hosting community events. The garden is filled with a variety of plants and flowers, creating a peaceful environment that visitors can enjoy throughout the year. We've also added shaded seating areas and tables, making it an ideal spot for outdoor reading groups, workshops, and social gatherings. We believe this new feature will quickly become a favorite spot for many of our visitors. In addition to these changes, we've replaced the old coffee vending machine, the full-service cafe. The cafe offers a wide range of beverages, including specialty coffees, teas, and smoothies, as well as a variety of snacks and light meals. This new addition makes the library a great place to relax and take a break, whether you're studying, working, or just enjoying a good book. The library shop has been moved next to the cafe and now offers a variety of books, magazines, and library-themed merchandise. This relocation makes it more convenient for visitors to browse and shop while enjoying their time at the library. The shop also features unique items such as local authors' books, handmade crafts, and educational toys, providing a delightful shopping experience for all.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 17 to 20. Now listen carefully and answer questions 17 to 20.
Your info packet has a detailed schedule of upcoming events for the next few months. We're excited to offer a variety of programs and activities for all ages. During the school holidays, we'll be offering a range of special programs for children, including storytelling sessions, craft workshops, and science demonstrations. These activities are designed to be both fun and educational, and we're excited to see many young faces participating. The storytelling sessions will feature local authors and professional storytellers who will bring books to life, sparking children's imaginations and encouraging a love of reading. The craft workshops will allow children to explore their creativity through hands-on projects, while the science demonstrations will provide engaging and interactive learning experiences. As a special promotion, we are providing free library memberships for the first 100 children who sign up. This membership includes access to all our children's programs and special events throughout the year, along with borrowing privileges for books and multimedia. For our adult patrons, we have a series of lectures and workshops led by authors, industry experts, and community leaders. These events will cover a range of topics from creative writing and digital literacy, personal finance, and wellness. Our creative writing workshops will provide aspiring writers with the tools and inspiration they need to craft their stories, while our digital literacy sessions will help attendees navigate the increasingly digital world with confidence. Personal finance workshops will offer valuable advice on budgeting, saving, and investing, and wellness sessions will focus on mental and physical health. We believe these programs will provide valuable learning opportunities for everyone and help foster a sense of community. Every Tuesday, members can enjoy a 30% discount on all books purchased from the library shop. This is our way of saying thank you to our loyal members. Membership costs just £50 per year and includes exclusive access to members-only events, monthly newsletter, and discounts on various programs and services. Members also have priority access to new book releases and special borrowing privilege. A new initiative we're particularly excited about is our partnership with local schools to host weekly educational programs and author visit. This initiative is part of our ongoing commitment to support literacy and lifelong learning in our community. We'll be working closely with teachers to develop programs that complement the school curriculum and inspire a love of reading and learning in students. These programs will include book talks, writing workshops, and interactive reading sessions, where students can meet authors and learn about the creative process behind their favorite books. Another innovation at the library is our monthly book club, which will feature discussions on a wide range of genres and authors. This is a great opportunity for book lovers to come together, share their thoughts, and discover new books. Each month, we will select a book to read and discuss, with meetings facilitated by library staff and guest speakers. The book club will also include themed events such as author Q&A sessions and literary trivia nights. We're also introducing a series of masterclasses on various topics such as photography, gardening, and cooking, led by local experts. These classes will provide hands-on learning experiences and practical skills that participants can apply in their daily lives.
Part 3. You will hear two students discussing a research project on immigration and cultural integration. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 26. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 26.
Hey Maria, I heard you're working on a pretty interesting seminar paper. What's it about again?
Hi Lucas. Yes, I am. It's on immigration and cultural integration, specifically focusing on how second-generation immigrants navigate their identities between their parents' culture and the culture of the country they grow up in. It's a fascinating topic, but there's so much to cover that it's a bit overwhelming.
That sounds like a deep dive. I imagine it's not an easy topic to tackle. How are you planning to approach it?
Well, I'm still ironing out the details, but I'm thinking of doing a comparative study between the US and Germany. Both countries have significant immigrant populations, but their approaches to integration are quite different. The US tends to emphasize a melting pot ideal, where different cultures blend together, whereas Germany has been more focused on preserving cultural differences while promoting social cohesion. I think comparing these two could provide some really interesting insights.
That's a solid plan. But I guess you'll need to narrow down the focus at some point, right? There's a lot to unpack there.
Exactly. I'm currently deciding whether to focus just on the educational aspect, like how second-generation immigrants perform in school and how that impacts their integration, or to include social aspects as well, such as their involvement in community activities and social network. I want to make sure my research is comprehensive, but I also don't want it to be too broad and lose focus.
That makes sense. You don't want to spread yourself too thin. Are you planning to conduct interviews or surveys as part of your research?
Yes, definitely. I'm planning to do in-depth interviews with second-generation immigrants to get a better understanding of their personal experiences. I'm also thinking of supplementing that with surveys to get a broader perspective, but I'm still undecided on the specific questions. I want to ask about their sense of identity, their connection to their parents' culture versus the local culture, and how they feel about the concept of belonging.
That sounds like a great approach. But how are you planning to recruit participants? It could be tricky to find people who fit your criteria and are willing to talk about such personal topics.
I've been thinking about that too. I'm planning to reach out to community centers, immigrant associations, and maybe even through social media. I want to make sure I get a diverse group of participants in terms of age, background, and how long they've been in the country. But yeah, it might take some time to find the right people.
It sounds like you've got a good strategy in mind. But I suppose you'll need to be careful with how you handle sensitive topics during the interviews.
Definitely. I'm very aware of that. I'll make sure to let participants know that they can skip any questions they're not comfortable answering, and I'll anonymize all their responses to protect their privacy. I want to create a safe and open environment where they feel comfortable sharing their experiences.
That's important. Are you planning to publish your findings or share them with the participants afterward?
I haven't decided yet, but I'm leaning towards sharing a summary of the findings with participants. I think it's important for them to see how their contributions have helped shape the research. Plus, it might be valuable for them to see how others in similar situations are navigating their identity.
That's a great idea. It shows respect for their input and can be empowering for them. So what's the next step in your research process?
The next step is to finalize my research questions and then start drafting the interview guide. I want to make sure my questions are clear and focused, but also open enough to allow participants to share their unique perspective. After that, I'll start reaching out to potential participants and setting up interviews.
Sounds like you've got your work cut out for you. But it's a really important topic. I'm sure your findings will be insightful.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 27 to 30. Now listen carefully and answer questions 27 to 30.
So, Maria, now that you're moving forward with your research, have you thought about how you'll analyze the data once you've gathered it?
Yes, I've been considering a combination of qualitative and quantitative methods. For the interviews, I'll probably do a thematic analysis to identify common themes and patterns in how people talk about their experiences. I'm particularly interested in seeing how concepts like home, identity, and belonging come up across different interviews.
That sounds thorough. And for the quantitative side, are you planning to use any specific statistical methods?
I'm thinking about running some basic statistical tests on the survey data to see if there are any significant correlations between variables like age, length of time in the country, and their sense of belonging. I'm not a statistician, so I'll keep it relatively simple, but I think it will be helpful to have some hard data to back up the qualitative findings.
That makes sense. It's good to have both qualitative and quantitative data to support your conclusions. Are you planning to compare the results from the US and Germany directly, or will you analyze them separately?
I'm planning to do both. I'll analyze each country's data separately first to see what trends emerge, and then I'll do a comparative analysis to see how the experiences of second-generation immigrants differ between the two contexts. I'm curious to see if the different approaches to integration lead to different outcomes in terms of identity and social cohesion.
That could lead to some really interesting insights. Have you thought about the challenges you might face during the analysis?
Definitely. One challenge I anticipate is dealing with the complexity of the data, especially since people's experiences with immigration and cultural integration can be so varied. It might be difficult to draw clear conclusions, especially if the data is very diverse. Another challenge is making sure that I interpret the data accurately and don't let my own biases influence the analysis. I'll need to be very careful about that.
Those are good points. It's important to be aware of your own perspective and how it might affect your interpretation. Are you planning to get any feedback on your analysis as you go along?
Yes, I'm planning to check in with my advisor regularly to make sure I'm on the right track. I'm also thinking of sharing some of the initial findings with a small group of participants to see if they resonate with their experiences. I think getting feedback from different perspectives will help ensure that my analysis is well-rounded and accurate.
That's a great approach. It sounds like you're being very thorough. Do you have a timeline in mind for completing the analysis?
I'm hoping to have the interviews and surveys completed within the next couple of months, and then spend the following month or two on the analysis. I'd like to have a first draft of the paper ready by the end of the semester. But I know things might take longer than planned, so I'm trying to be flexible.
It's good to have a timeline, but also to be realistic about potential delays. It sounds like you're well prepared, though. How do you feel about the project overall?
I'm excited, but also a bit anxious. It's a big project, and I want to do it justice. But I'm also really passionate about the topic, so I'm looking forward to seeing what I discover. I think it's going to be a learning experience, both in terms of the research itself and in how I manage such a complex project.
Part 4. You will hear a presenter talking about koalas. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 35. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 35.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's wildlife seminar. Today, we're going to talk about one of Australia's most beloved animals, the koala. These fascinating creatures are often referred to as koala bears, but they are not bears at all. They are marsupials, which means they carry their young in a pouch. Koalas are known for their distinctive appearance, with fluffy ears, a large nose, and soft gray fur. Koalas are primarily found in the eucalyptus forests of eastern Australia. These trees are crucial to their survival, as they provide both food and shelter. Koalas have a very specialized diet, feeding almost exclusively on eucalyptus leaves. Interestingly, there are over 600 species of eucalyptus trees, but koalas only eat from about 30 of them. Their digestive system is uniquely adapted to break down the tough, fibrous leaves, which are toxic to most other animals. The leaves are low in nutrients and high in fiber, which means koalas need to eat a lot to get the necessary energy. They can consume up to 500 grams of leaves per day. One of the most notable features of koalas is their sedentary lifestyle. They spend up to 20 hours a day sleeping or resting. This is because their diet provides very little energy, so they need to conserve as much as possible. Despite their sluggish appearance, koalas are excellent climbers and can move quickly if threatened. Their sharp claws and strong limbs make them adept at navigating the trees, where they spend most of their time. The reproduction cycle of koalas is also quite fascinating. Female koalas give birth to a single joey after a gestation period of about 35 days. The tiny, underdeveloped joey, which is about the size of a jelly bean, crawls into its mother's pouch, where it continues to develop for the next 6 months. During this time, the joey feeds on milk produced by the mother. After emerging from the pouch, the joey will ride on its mother's back for another 6 months, learning to eat eucalyptus leaves and gaining the skills needed for independence. This extended period of parental care is crucial for the joey's survival and development.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 36 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 36 to 40.
Now, let's delve deeper into some of the challenges koalas face and the conservation efforts in place to protect them. One of the biggest threats to koalas is habitat destruction. As urban areas expand, eucalyptus forests are cleared, reducing the available habitat for koalas. This not only limits their food supply, but also increases their exposure to predators and the risk of being hit by vehicles. Additionally, the fragmentation of their habitat forces koalas to cross roads and land cleared for agriculture, making them more vulnerable. Another significant issue is disease. Many koalas suffer from chlamydia, a bacterial infection that can cause blindness, infertility, and even death. The disease is widespread among koala populations and has had a devastating impact on their numbers. Conservationists are working on ways to treat and prevent this disease, including vaccination programs and research into better medical treatments. However, treating wild populations poses significant challenges. Climate change is also impacting koalas. Increased temperatures and changes in rainfall patterns affect the growth of eucalyptus trees, which in turn affects the availability of food for koalas. During extreme weather events, such as bushfires, koalas are particularly vulnerable, as they cannot move quickly to escape the flames. The 2019 to 2020 Australian bushfire season, known as Black Summer, had a catastrophic impact on koala populations, destroying large swathes of their habitat and killing thousands of individuals. To help combat these challenges, various conservation programs have been established. These include habitat restoration projects, where native vegetation is replanted to create corridors for koalas to move safely between forested areas. There are also breeding programs in place to help increase the genetic diversity of koala populations and boost their numbers. Sanctuaries and wildlife hospitals play a crucial role in rehabilitating injured and sick koalas, providing medical care and a safe environment for recovery. In addition to these efforts, public awareness campaigns play a crucial role. By educating people about the plight of koalas and what they can do to help, such as reducing their carbon footprint, supporting conservation organizations, and advocating for stronger environmental protections, we can all contribute to the preservation of this iconic species. Community involvement is essential, as local actions can have a significant impact on conservation efforts. Furthermore, government policies and regulations are vital in protecting koala habitats. Stricter land use policies, increased funding for conservation programs, and enforcement of wildlife protection laws are necessary to ensure the survival of koalas. Collaboration between government agencies, nonprofit organizations, researchers, and the public is key to creating a sustainable future for koalas.